My name is Tejas Balapalli. I come from India. I'm studying at Florence University of the Art. I'm doing my art criticism and art theory here. So it's thank you for joining us today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So my name is Maria. I'm Spanish. I have been working in the art world for the last 7 years. I graduated for fine arts in Spanish university, but after I moved to Italy and London, UK, in order to learn more from the art market. So I have been working mainly in commercial galleries, contemporary art ones, and as well in non-for-profit spaces, associations, in order to understand how all the parts in the art world are connecting each other and how the art market works.
Wow, that's wonderful. That's wonderful to know. It's really important to know the experience of the person from your perspective. I would like to know today we are going to talk about, first of all, we're going to talk about Salvator Mundi, the painting from Leonardo da Vinci, which was quite recently sold in the auction for 450 million, which is the record till date. And from a perspective of F.E. Sparshott, a critic from the 1950s, we are going to look at it from his point of view. His ideology was to look at art critics from the way of the consumer's point of view. Firstly, I would love to know, if his principles are standing even till date in the auction houses or anywhere in the art field. And if not, I would definitely like to know what the present situation is there.
Well, first of all, I will say yes for the four principles that we more or less we all know about that. And because I think even if we will speak about later, but even if the world has been changing and the art market has been growing so fast in the last years, I think that art criticism it's important because it creates a plate for the work of art. So it's an inevitable part of the contemporary art dynamics nowadays. So for me was when I was reading as well this conversation we were going to have, uh, I thought about a lot of art critics, curators that are key players of the contemporary art market, of the modern art market. So that nowadays it's still really important. Even in the 50s, he mentioned these 4 points, and still today it's something we hear every day. Galleries are looking at the art critiques, the magazines, the reviews. So for me, it's a completely yes to do that to that question.
Oh, that's wonderful. Is it fair to say that Sparshott was pretty much looking at art market of today and he has made the rules before?
Yeah, well, what I was curious about what are your thoughts about that? Because for me it was that even if we change a lot during those hundreds of years, we have still the core is still the same of the art market, the networking, the all the connectors, all the people involved. What I was curious about your opinion about that too.
I feel like art has always had the purpose of end of the day, art has to reach the person. Art has to reach the person it belongs to, the one it resonates with. And art field has improved a lot during the years through thousands of revolutions worldwide. And I feel like artwork right now, it brings a clear bridge between the person and the artwork.
Well, it's yeah, I completely agree. It's necessary, and I was thinking as well about there was a French poet called Paul Valéry that in the 30s he defined that art criticism was a form of literature that condense or at the same time amplified and bring the armory to all the ideas the artists are having in their minds. So that it was more like the art critique was the translator of what the artists were trying to communicate with the artworks. And I thought was an really nice definition of what an art critic is, and it's connected with the one of the 4 points of Sparshott, that the assistance that the customers are having from the art critics in order to understand better, because obviously we all know that sometimes an artwork is difficult to understand, or the art
It's very true.
wants to tell something that probably we don't comprehend properly. So I thought that art critics are really, really important nowadays.
Definitely. And considering that art is like bigger than ever before. It's so huge and it's on every single part of the world. Unlike a lot of times before, when during the times of war or even during the previous times, art was not like the major thing about a person's life. Now it has become like one of the most important things for a person to, since the world has come into kind of a peaceful state, it is it is for our intellectual mind to start thinking more, expanding, and art really helps a person do this, I feel.
It's I agree completely with your point, because even nowadays with this current situation international world is having now, it's really important art and culture, and well, we are all in our houses, and we are enjoying arts and culture. So I think it's necessary, of course, and we have these advantages, right? Of after
True.
the stars.
Definitely. Definitely. I completely agree with you. This whole new art world is pretty much different than the old ones, I feel. I would like to know what the new art world has to offer for the customers or the consumers compared to how it was before.
Well, I think the fastest answer to your question is that now we are in a global art world, that so many years ago each country they have their art network, the artists, the critics, and it was difficult to see what was happening in other countries, right? So
Yep.
the communication and the accessibility to the arts, it's way bigger than before, and also the general level of the scholarization is higher. So therefore, people are including the experience of contemporary modern art, going to visit museums, exhibitions, art events, talk, and they are adding to their normal activities in their everyday life that they were not probably used to that in the past. So I think it's more like a common thing to do, to go to visit art exhibitions, museums. And I think obviously the social media channels. So nowadays, with all the communication channels we have, mainly for Instagram because it's visual, but even Twitter for writers, articles, the website of galleries, now with all these online viewing rooms, online, it's you have the possibility of being in an exhibition in New York, even if in that moment you are in a small city in Russia, and it's all connected. So I think we have a lot of advantages in comparison with before, and we need to take the opportunity of those ones in order to learn ourselves of what is happening in the other part of the world, and obviously not missing what is happening in ours, of course. So I'm not saying that the digital is something that says, oh, you cannot do anything anymore, the physical thing. But I think that complements so good with what we can see and what we can visit virtually. What is your opinion about that?
Oh, my apologies. My seems to be like some glitch.
Okay. So I
Now,
was asking, what is your opinion about if you think as well that the advantages now, like artwork is different from the past years?
I honestly, I do understand that in the past it was quite hard for common people to look at artworks and judge them, look at them, feel them. That was pretty much really hard for a lot of people. But considering that and what has happened today, because of the internet, people are looking at art from not a space. They're sitting at home and looking at art, which does not do too much justice for it, I believe. I believe that if you have to experience an artwork, you have to be in its space. You have to be just looking at it. You have to devote yourself to its presence.
Mm-hmm.
It requires your complete attention is what I'm trying to say, and that is kind of taking a step back in the present modern world of the internet. I
Yeah,
feel so.
I understand what you think, and from my point of view as well, I am, let's say, more traditional model of going to visit the artwork. So I love, for example, to visit the artist studios. So when they are still in the process of creating something, but I am speaking about in terms of that I am not able to go to New York today or to Africa or to India or like other continents that I know they have now a vibrant art scene growing. So I use the tools that social media provides us nowadays in order to understand what they are doing. So I cannot compare with watching an artwork by myself, and need, but I think it's a complementary for that.
Oh, true. It definitely has both of its side. Like, if I want to look at an artwork, if I am in another country, that would be kind of hard to just fly in to just look at the artwork. That would be definitely hard. I totally agree with that. Somehow, this stage we are in right now, I feel like it's still in progress. It's very much in its beginning of the new era of internet, in the new beginning of looking at art. I feel like something which would come into the future, like virtual realities, which would help people understand a little more in depth than just looking at a picture of an artwork. I feel like we are still in a we are taking baby steps, and there are like a lot out there to expand and upgrade ourselves with.
Yeah, yeah. I completely agree.
Thank you so much. I am really glad that I got the opportunity to talk to you about this, because once it's nice to talk to a person who is in the field, experiencing it every single day in their life. Subconsciously, you understand, you see, you experience way more things than anyone else who is just with a book.
The pleasure was mine.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Maria. It was a pleasure having you for today. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. Take care.